Sokoto to expose him to more danger. Is Sokoto the most secure place for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be? The answer is no. The reason they took him to Sokoto was to humiliate him. The injustice in Nigeria is something that nobody should pray to be part of. When you look at the injustice happening in Nigeria, when you step out, you wouldn't like to step your foot back in that Zolika Republic until that country disintegrates. As we are looking at the injustice in the zoo, we must also look inward and make sure we apply justice equally among ourselves, because charity begins at home. Apply justice equally. Be very careful what you support. Be very careful what you promote. Be very careful. Keep your envy, jealousy, and strife apart from this struggle. The rule of law matters. The rule of law is not only in the Zolika Republic. The rule of law, even among us Biafrans, we need to respect the rule of law. Every society depends upon confidence in its institution. Every society depends upon confidence in its institution. Today, many of the institutions that we have in this struggle, how many of them can you be able to vouch for? Do you sit back and ask yourself? All the names, mushroom names you see right, left, and center, can you be able to vouch for anyone? As it stands today, I can only vouch for our supreme leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Nnamdi, and whatever instruction they gave. Because of them, I can be able to support any group that they permit and authorize. And that is why each time I speak about the new IPOB, the reborn IPOB under Mazi Chris Mogu, when I talk about it, I talk about it with my chest out. It doesn't mean that I'm forgetting my common sense. I still have my critical thinking and my common sense. But I give them that benefit of doubt because of our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and support them the best way I can. Whatever they say, I use my platform to promote it. I play their programs. And I give them all the support that I can. I don't see them as a threat. As long as it is for the progress of Biafra, I don't see them as a threat. Likewise, anyone that is in any mushroom group, if you are sincere and pursuing the cause of freedom, I don't see you as a threat. I don't have any problem with you. So many of us, we have not met, we only meet online. So why would I have to see you as a problem, as a threat? When I know that the purpose for which we all gather is the same purpose. Except you are not fighting for Biafra. That is why you will see your fellow Biafra as a threat. Why don't you borrow leave from our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu never see any Biafran as a threat. That was why when he saw Mazi Nnamdi, he embraced him and announced him and said, go and listen to him. He is bringing a new dimension to the struggle. Some people would have not said that because they feel that when they make the announcement, Mazi Nnamdi can take away their own popularity. Many people who were fighting Mazi Nnamdi were fighting him because they feel that his appearance will overshadow them. But every genuine human being, if you are genuine, when you see somebody that is performing better than you embrace that person and learn. The genuinity of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is second to none. Our supreme leader, even while he was with us, he never saw anybody as a threat. He wants people that have the knowledge. He prefers people that knows better than he does. Once you have something to offer, he will embrace you. He doesn't feel threatened because he knows who he is and he knows what he wants. His eyes is focused on the unity of purpose. That is why he went ahead to make it open and say, if you know what you will do to make sure Biafra come, go ahead and do it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu embraces everybody. He doesn't see anybody as a threat. But this sacked DOS today that we are seeing, they were seeing Mazi Simon Ekpa as a threat. That was why they campaigned against him, they came against him, they fought him, they blackmailed him, they say all manner of lie against him. Today, the same thing is what they are doing against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because they feel that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have something they can never have on planet Earth. They feel that taking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu away will only make them, that is the only time they can be relevant. They feel that as long as they remain in the picture, nobody is going to know them, or nobody is going to talk about them. So they feel the best way is to castigate him, attack him, remove him, blackmail him. The same thing they did to Mazi Nnamdi because they felt threatened, not because Mazi Nnamdi committed a crime against them. Mazi Nnamdi did not do anything against them. In fact, from the beginning, Mazi Nnamdi was telling us to listen to these DOS. We should obey them. Obey their instructions. Even when they cancel, they sit at home and Biafrans continue to do this. Mazi Nnamdi, his first brokers was that people should listen to them, that they are in charge. Mazi Nnamdi cannot place them in charge. But when the Biafran insisted that they must continue to air their opinion through that sit at home, since they cannot protest, Mazi Nnamdi hearkened to the voice of the people and listened to them and say, fine, if that is what you want, I will be in support of the opinion of the majority, the people. I follow you. And this ex-DOS, instead of listening to the voice of the people, they choose to listen to the voice of the politicians, who is their paymaster. They were focusing on the command and control. They were focusing on their own will, not the will of the people. On their greed, envy, and jealousy. And that was when they lost it all. And from then, we cast the vote of no confidence on them, throw them to the trash where they belong. And Mazi Nnamdi moved on and said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will do the same. Once he comes, they are gone. And today, that word of Mazi Nnamdi have come to life. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu finally, officially, remove the Department of Saboteur, DOS, and they are nowhere to be found. And today, IPOB, that is supposed to be the family where we all belong, has been retrieved. And somebody can now post and hit himself and say, I am a member of IPOB. It is no longer something to be ashamed of. But then, IPOB was corrupted. It was made a political pressure group. It was almost speaking the voice of the politicians and the voice of the caliphate. You go to Radio Biafra, they are preaching rubbish. Absolutely. Radio Biafra, where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu educated most of us, they turned it to something else. They turned it to a place of saga, a place of lies and propaganda and blackmail. But I thank Chukwu Okokabiyama where we are today, that this is the time of revelation, a very interesting time. And wherever my prime minister is, Mazi Nnamdi, he will be very happy. I am praying and praying and praying hard that by 5th of August, after his appeal, he will join us. He needs to be here to see what is happening. He needs to hear to receive apology by himself. We are not going to take the apology on his behalf. He needs to be here. He needs to be here to see what he has spoken has come to life. Just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, everything he said come to light. Anyone that has not happened, just have patience and watch and look closely, it will happen. Every society depends upon confidence in its institution. When people believe that the law is applied fairly, trust grows. When people believe that law is applied fairly, trust grows. When due process is respected, confidence grows. Wherever you belong and what you are supporting, is there any due process in that? The rule of law protects everyone. The rule of law protects everyone, no exemption. It protects those in authority. It protects ordinary citizens. It protects minorities. It protects those who hold popular opinions. This is why many constitutions around the world emphasizes fair hearing, legal representation, and independent courts. And this is what we are asking for our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and our Prime Minister Mazi Nnamdi. These things have been lacking. These things have been lacking. Even though many constitutions around the world emphasizes fair hearing, yet Biafran leaders are not getting fair hearing. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not get fair hearing in Nigeria. Mazi Ekpa did not get fair hearing in Finland, Europe. And you'll be surprised. You ask him why, how comes? In a situation where the prosecutor refused to admit any evidence from Mazi Ekpa, what does that mean? Is that fair hearing? When you refuse to admit evidence against the accuser, is that fair hearing? Of course, it can never be. Legal representation. How are our leaders represented? How are they represented? Independent courts. How can the court be independent when the government of Nigeria owns it, directs it, appoints the judges and whoever comes on, bribe those they will bribe, and position those, and sack those they can sack? How can that court be independent? Court can never be independent, more especially when you have a case with the government or you have a case with somebody who is richer than you. The court of Nigeria can never be independent. Just like you see what the Nigerian government is doing with their judges today. How can you see what is going on in Nigeria and you talk about a court being independent? It's not going to happen. Maybe before the end of the program, I'm going to play the video of interview of the Carlo, what he's talked about. Independent court in Nigeria, the court system of what is happening. Differing opinions is a democratic society. Differing opinion in a democratic society is something that you cannot run away from. That is how to know a democratic society. There will always be a differing opinion. Why do you feel threatened? Why do you see somebody as an enemy or a saboteur? Simply because the person has a different opinion. Why? Why do you see your fellow Biafran as a saboteur? Simply because he has a different opinion from you. He has a different idea of doing things. Healthy society often includes people who disagree. Oh, you don't know that? A healthy society includes people who disagree. There will always be people that will disagree. That is how to have a healthy society. That is how to know a healthy society. If you come to a society, you find out that everybody is an OES member. Whatever you say goes. You've not started. Number one, it shows that you don't have any democratic environment. And that is what we see in many mushroom groups today. Undemocratic. Once you ask a question, you're out. Once you ask a question, they tag you a saboteur. Once you have a different opinion, they see you differently. Different opinions are natural. You better begin to understand that. Different opinions are natural. You're bound to have them. People may disagree about politics. They may disagree about economics. They may disagree about history. The existence of disagreement should never remove someone's basic right. That we disagree should not deny me my basic right. Disagreement is normal. We are not bound to agree in everything. That is why when I talk about unity, I speak about unity of purpose, not necessarily agreeing on everything. We have the right to disagree, have different opinions, be in different mushroom groups, but let the purpose be one. Let the purpose unite us. Respectful dialogue is healthier than hatred. Respectful dialogue is much more healthier than respect. Listening is stronger than shouting. Some of us don't even have the patience to listen. There are some people, when you engage them, they won't listen. Their mind is already made up on their argument, and they shout and shout and shout before you know they log out. They don't even have the patience to listen. Listening is stronger than shouting. If you're a good listener, you're on the right path. You will overcome 80% of your problem. And in most cases, you'll be right. You'll be vindicated if you're a good listener. Understanding is stronger than suspicion. Understanding is stronger than suspicion. Always have an understanding when people are talking, not always focusing on suspicion. You suspect everything that people say. You suspect every move, anything. There is nothing that is genuine before you. I see many people like that in this struggle. They don't see anything good from anybody. Everything you do is suspicious to them. Anything you do. Whenever they talk about somebody, it is always suspecting that person. They can never come and say, oh, this person, this thing you did is right, this one. No. Every time is castigating one person or the other, tearing one person or the other, blaming one person or the other. Suspicion. Understanding is stronger than suspicion. You better know that. Maybe you don't know before. Every human being possesses inherent dignity. The principle is recognized in many faiths, traditions, and international human rights frameworks. Whether someone agrees with us or disagrees with us, they deserve to be treated with respect. Whether someone agrees with us or disagrees with us, they deserve to be treated with respect. You don't insult people simply because you disagree. You don't insult people simply because they have different line of thought. And that is what we see a lot in this journey. You see people today attacking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu simply because they disagree. They have different opinion. Mazi Nnamdi was torn apart, called him different kinds of names, blackmailed, because he had a different opinion. There is bound to be disagreement. Disagreement is not evil. Whether someone agrees with us or disagrees with us, they deserve to be treated with respect. Human dignity reminds us that every person is more than their political views. Every individual is much more than their political views. That is why we must respect people. There are so many historical lessons that we need to learn. History offers many examples where society later recognized the importance of dialogue, legal reform, and reconciliation after a period of conflicts. This is one thing that Nigeria missed. After the Civil War, Nigerians refused to abide by the rules that they created by themselves: reconciliation, reconstruction, and reintegration. After the Civil War, they refused to enter into proper, serious dialogue. They refused to engage into proper legal reform. They refused to go into proper reconciliation. And that is why we are where we are today. And I bet you the zoo is irredeemable. And it is that way because that is how the owners of the country want it to be. And there is nothing you can do about that. Countries across different continents have established truth commissions, constitutional reform, and national dialogue to address difficult chapters in their history. But in the Zoological Republic, it is impossible. They tried the Okuta panel. I have played videos from Okuta panel during Obasanjo. Nothing came out of Okuta panel. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okuta panel, after spending millions and billions, nothing came out of it. Jonathan came in and put in a constitutional conference. They threw it to the dustbin. When we tell you that the foundation is wrong, there's nothing the righteous can do. These are examples that when the foundation is faulty, there is nothing the righteous man can do. You might understand, you might not understand. Countries across different continents have established truth commission, constitutional reform, or national dialogue to address difficult chapters in their history. And I just gave you an example of what Nigeria did, but it could not survive because the foundation is faulty. Because the owners of the country do not want it to survive. The Okuta panel, the Constitutional Conference, what came out of it? Nothing. In fact, the late Muhammad Buhari took the Constitutional Conference and threw it into the dustbin after spending billions. He threw it into the dustbin and he wouldn't look at it. Okuta panel, nothing came out of it with all the testimonies and reconciliation. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even an apology. Not even an apology. The zoo is not meant to survive. If the indigenous people want to survive, they have to go their separate ways. These experiences remind us that sustainable peace often depends on willingness to confront the past honestly while working towards a shared future. Pay attention. With all that we have said and all these experiences, it reminds us that sustainable peace often depends on willingness to confront the past honestly. In a country where they have removed history, they don't want to speak about their past. How do you think that they can have a sustainable peace? In a country where they have refused to address the past, they don't have the willingness to confront the past. They went ahead to make sure that the past is not mentioned. Because of Biafra issue, history was extracted from Nigeria. How do you think that country is going to survive? How are you going to walk towards a shared future when your history has been trashed and put in dustbin? And today, the ones that they are now trying to rewrite the history, to tell stories that doesn't exist. They are fighting so hard to write history. That is how bad it is. That is how bad it has gotten. And you think that the zoo will survive. Every day when we come here, if you are a good listener, listen with an open mind, you will always get a lesson and no reason why we say that Nigeria is irredeemable. While we continue to stand our ground for an independent state of Nigeria, Biafra, and we continue to demand for a referendum, let the people make their choice. There is an old saying, there can be no lasting peace without justice. Those of you that come and dream of peace and talk about, oh, let's come together and do this, there can be no lasting peace without justice. It's not going to happen. Justice is not about revenge. That is what some people in the zoo believe. When you talk about justice, they think it's not about revenge. When you talk about justice for Biafra, they get scared. Oh, those land they stole, they will take it back. The money they stole, they will take it back. It is not about that. Some are very scared. There are even some people in the old Southern region. When you talk about justice for Biafra, they are so scared. They think it's about revenge. Oh, Biafrans are coming to fight back. No. Justice is not about revenge. Justice is about fairness. Fairness. Accepting your fault, admitting your crimes, and doing the right thing by apologizing. Justice is about fairness. That is all we are asking for. Fairness. Justice is about accountability. People need to be held accountable for what transpired, for what had been going on in that zoological republic. People need to be held accountable. Accountability. That is what justice is all about. Justice is about ensuring that every person has access to due process and equal protection under the law. Now you understand why the Biafrans want out. Look at the condition of our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with Nigerian court and tell me, is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu protected under Nigerian law? The answer is no. If there is justice and he's protected, he will not be in detention today. He will not be in detention. And we cannot continue to keep silent. We will continue to demand for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and continue to speak to the world. A time will come when that voice that we are expecting will speak, and it will speak loud that even the deaf will hear, and our Supreme Leader will join us. As we discuss sensitive topics, let us remember that respectful conversation is essential. Anywhere you are, always remember that. Respectful conversation. That is why my platform, I make it open. Even if you're a one Nigerian and you have a superior argument, you have questions for us, or you have something you want to, feel free. Send a request. I will bring you up. Respectfully, without insulting you. We allow you to air your opinion and we respond. We may not all agree, but we can listen to one another. There is no law that says that we must agree. I am not expecting everybody here to agree with me. You don't have to. But we can listen to one another. We can ask questions. We can seek understanding. We can reject insult and hatred. We can encourage constructive dialogue. And that is the path we have been taking. That is the path even Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been calling for. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the supreme leader of IPOB, and Mazi Nnamdi have been open to dialogue at all times. They are always open to dialogue. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made several moves when he met with the governors in the southeast. What came out of it? Nothing. Nothing. Did he make any request that is out of ordinary? No. There was no request. I said some time ago, the request of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when he met the governors was published and by the lawyer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Aloy Ejimako. And let me see if I can get that let me see if I can be able to get the request of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the request he put forward when he met the governors. It was published by Aloy Ejimako. So that people will know when we are talking about that. Some people will think that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, oh, he doesn't want this. He is not. He is not. And at every given point in time, his request has always been a request for the people, to favor the people, not for himself. He has never pursued any personal motive or personal agenda on several occasions. That very item was published by a lawyer, Ejimaka. The transcript of the request of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the lawyer, from the what do they call it? Nigerian government and the politicians when they met and had a meeting. It was published. And when you hear the request he made there, you'll be wondering. You wonder, why didn't they respect that simple and genuine request? Why did they fight it? Why didn't they respect a simple request that was put forward by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Why? Let's see if we can be able to look into that so that you can understand what we are saying. Some of you will not understand if we don't break it down. And some people who are not Biafrans also will not understand. That is why we have to go extra miles to bring some of these things for you to see for yourself, so that when we are speaking, you will understand better. I want you to look at the request Mazi Nnamdi Kanu put forward when he met with these criminals called the governors of the Southeast and Nigerian government. This was the request he made. Nnamdi Kanu's 2027 8 demands from federal government revealed. Let us see the demand Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made. Let's see, it was posted here by Aloy Ejimaka. These are the demands that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made. Below is a transcript of notes Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has made when he held that crucial meeting with Southeast governors in August 2017, a meeting that could positively change the course of history if Buhari had not resorted to the infamous Python dance. Now read on. These are the requests Mazi Nnamdi Kanu put forward. I asked for seaport in Igbo land. They said no, but they could pay my family 300 million naira every month. Can you imagine? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu asked for a seaport in Igbo land. They said no, but they could pay his family 300 million every month. They rejected what he told them, and they offered him 300 million every month. And he said, no, that's not what I want. They are not after me, Nnamdi Kanu. They are after you, the ordinary Igbo people. I just happen to be standing in their way. I also asked for an international airport and a seaport in Igbo land. They said that if those were granted, the region would develop beyond Lagos. Instead, they offered me an additional 5 billion naira to keep quiet. Imagine. They offered him additional 5 billion naira to keep quiet. And he said no. I asked for equal rights and for Nigeria to treat the Igbo people fairly. They said they would try their best. Trying your best to see my people as equal citizens of one Nigeria is laughable. You can imagine. You ask, treat my people the same way you treat others. Treat us equally. And you say you will think about it. You can imagine. In a country you are supposed to be part of. One of the major tribes in that country. And you don't want to treat them right. You can imagine. I asked for equal rights for Nigeria to treat the Igbo people fairly. They said they will try their best. You can imagine. that they will try their best to give equal rights. We're not asking for anything excess. We're not asking to be treated differently. We're not asking to be treated with some grace or give us some honor. Treat us equal like others. And they say they will try their best. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, try your best to see my people as equal citizens of one Nigeria. It's laughable. I then said, fine, let my people have a referendum so they can choose whether to stay or leave. Simple. I then said, fine, let my people have a referendum so they can choose whether to stay or leave. The freedom of my people is the reason I was born. This is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu speaking. This is a transcript from the discussion of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with the governors, with the Nigerian government in 2017. 2017. That is what I just read. That is what I just read. And it is something that everybody should have a copy of in their head, so that you will understand what we are going through. Those who are not Biafrans, those who are not Nigerians, will hear this and understand what we are going through. I want to run it again. I asked them for seaport in Igbo land. They said no, but they could pay me and my family 300 million every month. They are not after me, Nnamdi Kanu. They are after you. The ordinary Igbo people, I just happen to be standing in their way. I also asked for an international airport and a seaport in Igbo land. They said that if those were granted, the region would develop beyond Lagos. Instead, they offered me an additional 5 billion naira to keep quiet. I asked for equal rights and for Nigeria to treat the Igbo people fairly. They said they would try their best. Trying your best to see my people as equal citizens of one Nigeria is laughable. I then said, fine, let my people have a referendum so they can choose whether to stay or leave. The freedom of my people is the reason I was born. Now, do you understand? Do you understand? That is why when I see some idiots today that are speaking against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you know that those people are cursed. Those of them that are speaking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are cursed. These are cursed generation, and they are bringing curse upon their family, upon their generation unborn. For a man who has gone this far and continue to put his life on the line and refuse to accept bribe, refuse to accept anything in exchange, and yet you have the guts to on your camera and speak against him. You have the guts to on your camera and speak against him. Chukwu Okike Abiyama will not forgive you. I would like to hear from you. Please share your thoughts, especially in the comments. What does justice mean to you? Share your own thought on the comment section. What does justice mean to you? How can society remember difficult histories while also promoting reconciliation and peace? Your own perspective matters. You are entitled to your opinion. You have the right to speak. And I want to hear, I want to read your own version. What justice means to you? Don't just be an observer. Play a role. Be part of the discussion. I have said it. Don't be a sheepish follower. Always have your independent thought and independent mind. Today's conversation has reminded us the memory. That memories carry responsibility. That is why we must keep the memory of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu alive. And this sit at home is one of the days that you can never ever stop thinking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu myself. Even if you forget them in other days, every Monday you remember Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you remember Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. No matter how deranged you are, no matter how hateful you are, every Monday they will be on your lips, they will be on your brain. Today's conversation has reminded us that memory carry responsibility. History should teach wisdom. Justice should be impartial. Justice should be impartial. The rule of law should protect every individual. Human dignity should never be forgotten. As we reflect on history, let us also look towards the future with hope. May our discussion always be guided by truth, fairness, compassion, and respect for one another. Wherever you are watching this program from, I appreciate you and I thank you for joining us on today's live stream. If this discussion has been meaningful to you, please remember to like the program, share, subscribe if you have not done so, and continue engaging respectfully in the comment section. Wherever you are and you made it to the program today, up to this far, I thank you so much that you are able to have patience with us in this program up to this time. Many of us have a lot of things in their hand, but still, they spend their time with us here on our program. It is something to applaud. Without you, I will not be here. I thank you for spending your time with me, either on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, where I'm hosting the program, or on X. Anywhere you are joining, I appreciate you and I thank you so much for being part of the program. And I say, may Chukwu continue to guide and protect you, secure you, and give you that wisdom, give you that strength to overcome the challenges ahead. Because we know we have numerous challenges ahead of us. Some are so scary that if you are not careful, you might be tempted to run away and abandon your responsibility. But as Chukwu Okike lives, we will continue to do what we have to do and when we need to do them. So before we go, let us go to their media and see the informations we have in their media. You know the reason we go to their media, that most of the time, what we say and speak about here is confirmed in their own media. We go to their media to bring and read out information and news from the media so that people will know that we're not making things up.